Today we're going to talk about AIM-2. Now, as you already know, AIM-1 talks about the B cell, the two steps of IL-17 acting early to upregulate BCL6, and IL-21 acting late to upregulate AID. So just the two cytokines. Today what we're going to cover is AIM-2, is how did the B cells or how do the T cells get induced to make the cytokines, and then what are the B cells they act upon. So now we're going to add the cells, the two cell interaction component, to stimulate the T cells, and then the T cells go back on the B cells. Now, by way of introduction, we know that by definition T B cell help is critical for a T-dependent response, somatic augmentation, class switch needs pathogenic autoantibodies. We also know that CD28, CD86 interaction is critical for AID and autoimmunity. We also know that interferon alpha might upregulate CD86 mostly on MZPs. Now, what we don't know is the sequence of steps that occurs, but logically it must be something as shown here, that initially an antigen-presenting cell, in this case say the B cell, stimulates the T cell. This requires CD86, CD28 interaction. That's the first step. The second thing, logically, must be that the T cell then produces the two cytokines we're talking about in AIM-1, namely IL-17 first, IL-21 later. And then we also know they must act on the B cell, because this is what AIM-1 is built on, IL-17 to the 17 receptor, IL-21 to the 21 receptor. So that's what this is. And then thirdly, we know that this B cell then, we already know it upregulates AID because that's the somatic augmentation. And we know that IL-17, at least, in IL-21, BCL6. So IL-17, we know BCL6 upregulation, IL-21 upregulates AID. And all of this, by the way, occurs in a light zone because that's where the T cells are. The question is does it go to the dark zone then and then undergo proliferation, and then back to the light zone where they get selected? But we're not going to talk about this. Let's assume this is all early dark zone, or early light zone. So the first step is, like I said, the first step is B cell stimulation of T cell to produce the cytokines. So the experiment might be to, the model is MZP B cells are the antigen presenting cells. So let's go with that model. We sort the B cells into APC high MZPs, and then also MZ and FO, whatever populations, and we co-culture those with T cells and T cells from B6 and BXD2 mice. And at different times we look at IL-17 and IL-21 on the B cell. Perhaps IL-17 is first, IL-21 is later, we don't know. And then the other thing is we can block CD86 to see if this is essential. We already know it is. So that's the first step, just the B cell stimulating the T cell. And now the next thing, of course, is does the T cell act back on the B cell? So here we do a very similar experiment, like down here. We take the T cells that are producing IL-17 and 21, produced in this step, and we incubate them with different B cells. And we never know which B cell, but the other data shows that it acts on FO B cells, but not MZ. And we're not certain about MZP, but we may just take different T cells and incubate it with different B cells. So we talk about a 3x3 or 9 interaction. Now, this is AIM-2A in vitro, and AIM-2B will be the same thing in vivo, where we take we know we can administer TMP Ficol to the BXD2 mice, and we have them without IL-17 or without IL-21. We just simply stimulate the B cells in vivo, and we know the APC high MZP B cells will pick up the antigen. They'll stimulate the T cells. And by confocal, we can look at the first step, that is T cell production of IL-17 and 21. And then we think that must act back on a B cell to cause increased BCL6 and then AID. So that's the second step. Do these APC high cells, or maybe our other B cells respond to those T cells by upregulating BCL6, that'd be IL-17 related, or AID. And again, it'd be a kinetics or timed experiment, and the readout would be biconfocal, measuring activation to cytokine BCL6. Okay, that's all.